Now, y'all look money hungry, and that's good.
Do I have your full attention?
Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil doesn't fucking have it.
What? You think the stock market's some great mystery beyond the realm of human understanding?
They say money can't buy happiness. Look at the fucking smile on my face. Ear to ear, baby.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of The Root of All Evil. My name is Devilmaycare.
And I'm Mammon.
And yeah, we're here to talk about the Satanic perspective on money and businesses and pretty much anything to do with finance.
So, Devilmaycare, why not tell us a little bit about where you came up with the idea for the show?
Sure. So I have a pretty interesting life, pretty interesting history, but to be blunt and short about it, I left home when I was 15 years old, and for a little bit of time there, I was homeless. And speaking from experience, I can tell you that being homeless kind of sucks a dick.
I can imagine.
And then when I was older, I have kids, and at one point I got evicted from my apartment, and that especially really woke me up to the fact of just how important money is and personal finance is. And when that happened to me, I decided this is never going to happen again, period. It's that whole self-responsibility thing. And yeah, I completely changed my life in about 5 years. I think I doubled my income every 2 years for the last 10 years or something. And after doing that, I just kind of wanted to express, especially to other Satanists, that it's not that difficult to figure out this whole personal finance thing. It just takes some study.
There's that word again.
Right, the study word. Study, not worship. But yeah, it takes some study and it takes some effort. But it certainly can be done, and I'm living proof, and wanted to help other Satanists who are out there, because I know they're out there because they talk to me. So they're out there and they're struggling with their finances, and I wanted to do everything I could to show them how to fix that kind of problem. In addition to that, I wanted to use this show as kind of a jumping board to meet other Satanists that are out there that have already figured this personal finance thing out and learn more. You know, there's other people out there with probably a lot more to offer than what I have to offer that I wanted to learn from. So I wanted to do both of those things at the same time, both teach and learn.
This will kill two birds with one stone for sure. Me, I let's see, I never had it nearly as bad as what you just described. I just sort of stumbled into the financial industry and became fascinated with it and learned more and more and read and researched. And the more I got into it and would start to talk to family and friends about it, I started noticing that they would kind of go cross-eyed or just, stare off into the distance and nod. And it hit me that people don't understand this. They don't know where to begin, and they need to know about it. It's something that impacts us all. So I was definitely interested in jumping on board this podcast because I wanted to help people at least get them started. If we can just point them in the right direction, I know that other Satanists are going to take the steps on their own. So, if we could just be that kind of guiding star for just a moment and get people motivated to start really taking control of their lives, even more so than whatever they're already doing, I think that would be awesome.
I know the cross-eyed look that you speak of.
Yeah, every time I explain my job. So where would you begin if you were wanting to improve your scenario, regardless of whether you have absolutely nothing or you got a little bit? What would you say is the first step people should take?
It all comes down to income, to that personal cash flow. And it's where to get that income from. There's literally 1,000 ways to skin that cat. I mean, there's your occupation, there's investments, there's, starting your own business. I trade options. That's one of the incomes I have. The ways to create income are pretty limitless, but if you're really at the bottom, you really have to find a way, and it's probably going to be through your occupation, is to find a way to make a higher income. I know let's go to when I was evicted from my apartment, which was very, very long time ago. But at that time, I was used to making, near minimum wage, and you lose your job and that's all you have. It's devastating financially. It just can destroy a person. But if that's all you're used to is making minimum wage or close to minimum wage, it's hard to imagine that with no education, no background, that it's possible to go out there and make, $20, $30 an hour. But I guarantee you it is, because I've been there, done that. What about you? I mean, what would you advise for people who, you mentioned the financial industry. Like, have you seen people in the financial industry start from nothing?
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. It's not uncommon at all. What really did it for me is research, and in all my years through the financial industry, I was more educating people on whatever it was I was doing at the time. So whatever product I was working with and whatever aspect of the financial industry, I was giving people an education. And that's probably the first thing I would recommend anyone to do is just research. Find where you want to start and go until it makes sense, and then slowly expand.
Agreed. One of the things I did after I got evicted was I wrote down all my expenses for an average month and went backwards. What do I have to make to meet these expenses and still have money left over? And at the time, that number that I came up with seemed high, and I had no idea, how I was going to do that. But starting with that number, knowing what that number was, I was able to go through. I actually went through the Department of Labor's occupational handbook, and I went through there and figured out what's going to pay me this amount that I'm qualified to do. And yeah, it wasn't nearly as hard to get that job, that position that paid me what I needed to be paid as I thought it would be. Because at the time, like I said, I was used to making, near minimum wage.
Right. I have to agree with that. I mean, there's just been times throughout where I was making minimum wage, near minimum wage. I've got a family, I've got kids, but I was never satisfied with whatever it was I was doing because I had higher expectations for myself, and I had this motivating force that was just going to, internally, that was just pushing me forward. It's like, this isn't enough. And every time I would get somewhere, I'd be happy about it, but I was never satisfied. And it was just a rung on the ladder to do something else. And it's sink or swim. I mean, just keep moving.
Yeah. That never satisfied feeling is definitely something that has always been with me. I just, I used to not think money or finances were important. It was always other aspects of my life that I was focused on. But once I became focused on this, that feeling of never being satisfied has never stopped. Even to this day. I mean, just today I was looking for jobs that paid more money just to see if I could get one.
Yeah, right. And speaking of that drive, that internal force that pushes you forward, it makes me think of people who own their own businesses. Do you have any experience owning your own businesses?
Yeah, I've owned quite a few in my lifetime. some more successful than others, some a little bit strange. For example, I used to be a professional reptile breeder.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, something you don't hear very often. And yeah, I've done a number of other projects, businesses. Um, and speaking of businesses, we have a very special guest tonight, someone that knows a whole lot about business and somebody that I think most people listening to this show are really familiar with.
Tonight we have with us Reverend of the Church of Satan, creator of Third Side Network, co-host of the Devil You Know podcast and Third Side, and owner of iSatanist, Reverend John Shaw. Thanks for joining us, John.
Thank you for having me, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Nice to have you back on, John. So tell us a little bit, if you could, about how you came up with...
Time out. You just said it's nice to have him back on our first episode.
Leave that in.
Leave all this in. All right. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. And begin.
John.
Thanks for joining us, John. Anyway, you were saying.
John, how did you come up with iSatanist?
Oh, man. It was in a dream. No. I wanted to, the thing was there was this huge vacuum at the time in regard to like official Church of Satan, Sigil of Baphomet jewelry, and other products and things like that. There were things that were out there before that just went away. But when I, started looking around again and saying, look, there's nothing there, nothing official is really out there in terms of jewelry and things, and people want this stuff. It was a time for me to just step up and do it. I've done it before in the past. I've done things like that. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right because I learned a lot more from that experience or lack thereof. But I said it's time to return home, so to speak, as Magus Gilmore put it, and just bring it to people. The name was just the parody off of the Apple thing. I just figured I wanted to be the Apple of satanic products, so I, did the whole cliche iSatanist thing, but it's memorable. It works. It's good. I reached out to Magus Gilmore about it and my ideas and things like that. And he gave me his dark blessing, and we just went, from that to where it is today. And it continues to grow. I'm learning a lot more and about things I didn't know and knowing things that I didn't learn. I don't even know if that makes sense, but,
yeah, that's all good things to learn about.
Yeah, it's coming together. It's growing. I learned things the hard way. I learned things the easy way, and it's just all this knowledge and experience, helping me shape it and hone it into what it really, really can be.
So you said it's the name iSatanist is a play off Apple. Does that mean I can start calling you Reverend Steve?
You can call me anything you want. Just don't ever call me late for dinner.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, John, what is the story behind its success?
I'm gonna say two things. Number one, and most important, honestly, and I'm not just kissing ass here. I mean it. The Church of Satan. They are the ones that chose to endorse it and make it known and spread the word and helps to advertise for it. Magus Gilmore helps me with designs and his take on things. He's got a great eye for things, for design and everything. And he just he's always there, and he's a mentor and a friend. And I mean, that's the number one reason why it's here right now. The second, and just as important, is the customer. I mean, you can't be a rock star without your fans. You have to have your customers, So, they're the ones making the suggestions to us, making the choices on products and giving us feedback and ultimately making the orders, Without them, there really wouldn't be a reason to exist. I'm really doing it for them, for the people that want official Church of Satan jewelry. And it's been going for a while, so let's do it.
So you were talking about your customers and reaching them. So what's your market strategy? How do you reach your customers?
How do I reach my customers, or what's my market strategy?
Aren't they related?
Yes, they are, and thank you for asking. No, I mean, well, at first, it was to make the most inexpensive pieces, to get it off the ground. I wanted to offer something like, look, here's that cloisonne, that whole, everything you've seen through the years type of thing. Here, I'm bringing it back. Here's the official, sigil of Baphomet from Church of Satan, and just wanted to offer something to people, to get it off the ground. And that's where we started. Just simple little things, inexpensive things, and with the advertising of our membership and other customers, social media and everything, we were able to just kind of catapult it into existence and continue to help keep it rising and stuff. So with that being said, I wanted to use any profit that came in and just roll it over by making things better. I don't know if you've watched, since I Satanist's inception, we'd have a piece, and after a while I would be able to offer a better version of it. It's thicker, or it's better detail, or now we're doing stainless steel, so it's a more quality item, and just things like that, and just making it improve over and over again and build upon itself and things like that. So and at the same time, all the different products and stuff, and just kind of wanted to spread and grow and just keep it going. It's really it's kind of a tough thing, but the marketing, I think it's really word of mouth and online and social media, and the church just really helping out with passing the word. Like, I got some great customers. They post pics of things they've got, and people see that, and I just from sometimes people posting photos of and images of that, which quite frankly is better quality than some of the pictures that are on the website. So it's like that happens because we get lazy and stuff, but a lot of people have said seeing these pieces in person is way better than what they've seen on the website. They're like, it just blew me away. So I kind of like that. I kind of like want them to look at this thing and go, it looks pretty cool, let me get it. And they get it and go, holy shit, man, you need a better picture. What I mean? It's kind of a cool thing, but I like that because I want them to be very happy and enjoy their piece, because some of these things are expensive to make. So we're just really looking to keep growing like that, and we're looking into actually more expensive metals and tougher metals like titanium and other things that it's not going to scratch. These things are going to last like the test of time. So I'm looking for that everlasting gobstopper of a pendant, where you just buy one and you don't need one ever again in your life.
So 1,000 years from now, when they're digging up someone's some grave sites, they're going to see some I Satanist pendants.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be awesome.
Would you say that your marketing strategy is applicable to businesses apart from I Satanist?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just saying what I said before about Apple. I mean, Apple's done it. Other companies do the same thing. They come out with something and everyone's like, ooh, this is great. And then, you come out with, you improve upon it, and people make suggestions, and customers say this, and you get feedback from this, and it just compounds upon itself, making it a better product. And that's the way to do it, man. I mean, I try to mimic that business model, with I Satanist as much as I can, financially, without breaking the bank or customers' wallets, But when I find, honestly, when I find more inexpensive ways to get something done, I pass that savings on to customers. If you look through the history here, when t-shirts first came out, they were, in my taste, kind of expensive, but I wanted the high quality fabric. I wanted the things that when you put it on, it doesn't feel like it's going to shrink. When you wash it, it didn't shrink at all. It's just really nice fitting. It breathes. And I found a better supplier for that at a much, much cheaper price. So t-shirts went down to, almost $10 a piece. They went down. So it's, that's the way to do it. You got to, I'm not here to, this is not my bread and butter, is what I'm saying. I'm here to make sure that, this thing doesn't go away. I don't want it to go away for people, because it sucked for me when there was nothing out there to be able to get, people look for something. Oh, that's gone, or this store's gone now, or this one's closed up, or they don't make them anymore. I don't want that. So I'm not trying to make $1 million with this thing because I'm not going to. Satanists, we're a small niche market, and I just want people to keep purchasing enough as much as they can, because it helps me keep this thing alive. They're the lifeblood. The customers are the lifeblood.
Yeah.
But anyway, to answer your question, though, sorry, it's very applicable to other businesses. It's worked for a lot of people before, and it'll work for a lot of people afterward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, John, I've heard you mention Apple a few times now, and when people think of Apple, they think of this huge, giant company that's ultra successful. And I think it's really easy for people to forget that Apple started in a garage with just a few guys who were they're trying to fill a need. And they struggled. What has been your biggest struggle in trying to grow iSatanist?
I mean, I know we were talking about Apple and stuff. I don't see iSatanist ever being that big, huge thing.
Right.
If it is, remember me.
Garage forever, that type of thing. Which I don't mind that. That's fine. But because like I said, we're a small niche market. But the biggest struggle, the growing that business, I guess, would be money. I've been putting my personal money into this to get it going, and it doesn't make a huge profit. It makes enough to say, well, I got this where I can turn it into this, or actually come out with a different product now and use that to do this. And I'm still adding my own personal funds to it. And it's, as Marlene says, it's quite draining, but it's, I want to be able to make it grow, and you have to, take a risk before you get some reward,
Yeah, that makes sense. So what other entrepreneurial projects are you involved in?
Oh, I probably can't mention that here. I've got a couple things going with.
Next question.
Yeah, totally. I could say this though. I've got my wife and I started a film production company, and we're actually gearing up to travel and all over America first. I'm not even thinking about overseas or anything, but we have the idea of immortalizing our members, because that's what the Church of Satan is. It's members, and there's some amazing members out there that, quite frankly, a lot of people don't know about. And then they might not.
John, are you talking about people or dicks?
people. No, they do amazing things. They do amazing things out there, and they should be immortalized. We should have a full episode of just on them, what they do, what makes them tick. I mean, I don't want to name too many names or anything, but I mean, think of Adam Cardone. The guy is the epitome of a satanic warlock. I mean, he travels everywhere and experiences things most people dream of experiencing. He's living the life. He eats Captain Crunch every morning and doesn't get fat. The guy's amazing, and he gets the lady. He's more than James Bond does. So, he's doing it right. And I look up to Adam, because even though when I see him in person, I look down to him because he's really short, but I look up to him, He's a cool motherfucker, if I could say that. And can we swear on your show?
I think you can.
He's a cool motherfucker, and I dig him. You got to dig him, You can't not dig. Nope, there's nobody on this planet that doesn't dig Cardone. And I don't want to just single him out, but I'm saying there's people like that. We have a lot of great members. I'm not going to get into naming people. They know who they are because I've talked to them about this. And we want to showcase them. We want to be able to have this, for as long as we can in time, to see people, 100 years from now, 50 years from now, look at these members that we were in the beginning, that were with it since the beginning, because look at their lives. Check this out. Look what they've done. And maybe some people can emulate that if they want, if that pleases them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, John,
yes,
I heard a rumor about you, and I don't know if it's true or not. So
it probably is.
Well, yeah, probably.
Everything you heard about me is true. No.
So I hear you emulate Donald Trump, and that you don't sleep.
He doesn't sleep?
No.
Yeah, I don't. I abhor it. No, I mean, we have to do it, charge the batteries, but my battery is really low all the time. It's crazy. No, I rarely sleep, man. I do it in what I call intervals. Actually, everyone calls them intervals, but I sleep. I'm tired. I mean, I sleep in intervals. I'll get like, probably 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and then I'll get up and work on some stuff, and I'll get all tired from that, and I'll try to sleep a little bit more, and most of the time I can't until it's the next night. And I mean, but I don't know, is that maybe it's a problem? I don't know. But I can't do the whole 8 hours of sleep. I don't know what it is. I'm missing out on life, man. Something's going on. I was that kid that was always my parents were yelling at me, go to fucking bed, and I'm just laying there staring at the ceiling or looking into the darkness, looking at faces of demons or something that I made up in my head. I'm just a freaking weirdo, dude. There's something going on. I don't want to miss it. I could sleep when I'm dead, I guess.
Yeah, you'll have plenty of time. So what kind of advice do you...
Let me say something else about that. I don't mean to cut you off, but this means
go ahead, it's your show.
Managing your time. For the longest time though, I've been, everybody's bound by this whole 8 hours a day, and you got a 40-hour work week, and and you got to get your 8 hours a day. And to me, that's like, I don't know, man, that sounds like rules, and it's very constraining to me, and I was like, no, I'm going to do what I want when I want to. So if you want to attain anything, you're not sleeping, you're working on it. Sure, if you have a full-time job and you got a family, you're going to do all those things, but you're not going to be like, oh, I got to go to bed because I got to get up, so I can't work on it. And people talk like that
I've always had a problem with sleep, and it's mostly because as I'm trying to fall asleep, I feel like I'm going to miss something. Like the minute I fall asleep, something amazing is going to happen.
It is. There something amazing is going to happen.
True.
It's true. I mean, it always does, but you're just, you're sleeping. I don't know. You're going to miss out. If you have a goal, if you've got a real desire to do something with your life, don't talk your own self to death. Do it. And if it means you're going to get some less sleep, oh well, you're working toward your goal. And I like that.
Exactly.
Every book I've read about successful people have always said that. So I just want to do that. See how it works out.
So what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs?
Don't sleep. No. Let me see. Two things. This works for me. If it works for you, you want to try it out, give it a shot, because this works for me. Visualization, of course, and assholes.
Wait. Visualizing assholes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna need clarity.
Sometimes. No, that's the answer. Next question. No. But you visualize something. You see what you want. You want to create it. You see it all the way through, every single step along the way. Then perform step one. And when step one is complete, you perform step two. And when step two is complete, you perform step three.
Wait. This is complicated. I'm writing it down.
Okay, well, that was one. Let's do step two. It's not, honestly, it sounds fucking really ridiculous, but that's what needs to happen. And a lot of people in this instant gratification society, they just say, well, this is what I want, so how come I'm not getting it? Well, you didn't do these other steps, man. You've got to do each step, because you have a big goal, make small goals all the way up to that big one and knock them off the list as you do them, because you're just working toward that goal. You guys remember Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Who?
Come on.
Yeah, no, of course.
Dasher and yeah. So I love that show. That's my second favorite thing besides Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But anyway, Rudolph on there, they had one of the episodes where Father Time's in there, and he's like singing a song and walking, and he's like, you put one foot in front of the other. Remember that? And soon we'll be marching along. I actually think of that song when I want to do something, and I know it's going to be a tough road, or I know it's going to be a challenge or something like that. I think of that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
What's funny is I think of Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Oh yeah, that'll work too. It's the same thing. It's the same type of thing. You need something. It's a little battle cry or something for me. It's where get it done. Just put that one foot in front of the other. That's what keeps my black flame burning anyway. And you can apply it to anything. Naysayers, and this brings me to the final part where I said assholes. Naysayers, jealous people trying to drag you down, blood clots, man, all those fucking crabs in the pot that pull you out, that try to pull you down into boiling water. and tell you that you won't succeed or you'll never be that thing you want to be. Those people should be the fuel for your black flame. Use them, burn them, so that the stench of your fire penetrates the nostrils of those who wish your undoing. I don't. That sounded poetic there for a second, but my point. Yeah,
I liked it. I liked it.
right? I know it's profound, but but don't ever let that up. Don't stop doing that, because you want to make them the very thing they said you would be. Nothing, irrelevant. Fling them into oblivion, because those people, when they say those things or even think those things about you, they're only thinking of themselves and their own shortcomings.
Exactly.
Because if they can't do it, how can you ever do it?
They'd have to admit that they're not as good.
Because you're better. Yeah, if you want to be better than them, be better than them, and show them, and in time they'll just know it, and that'll just hurt them all the more. Fuck them. Assholes help you. That's what I think.
I have a saying, and it's I'm not sure where I got it from. It may actually be something LeVay said. I don't remember, but it's don't get mad, get better. If someone's trying to piss you off or bring you down, don't get mad, get better than they are.
I know who said that.
Who?
It was me, actually. On another show.
Fucking liar.
I said that
just a second ago. He just said that.
I totally did.
John, what was
Yes,
your biggest entrepreneurial failure?
My biggest entrepreneurial failure.
Yeah.
I say this.
Really?
This definitely. I mean, as strange as it seems, it's true. So far, it's true, because in order to bring the products in, a lot of my personal money was needed to make designs, prototypes, samples, resampling, getting it all right, and then finally going to the final product, and there's minimum orders I got to make with those certain things with certain vendors and stuff, and it just takes a lot of money. I might have to order the minimum 250 pieces, and I sell 25. So that doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, great. I got the product, but it's just people are like, hey, how about this color one? I'm like, all right, cool. And, two people buy that color and you're like, cool. So it's just one of those things where, and it goes with the territory though, because we are a small niche market, and people want something for nothing, and we all do. We always try to get a deal and always try to get things, but these things are already at deal prices, man. They really can't help out anymore. But I've got people that buy every single thing I come out with, and sometimes multiple pieces of that thing, and they just get them because they're like they're afraid one day this is going to be gone, and it might. I don't know, and they just get them so they have them. They put them away, or they have this and it. But I have like really loyal customers and people that are selling them overseas and things like that have deals with me, wholesale deals, and they'll get huge discounts on multiple things, and I do all kinds of stuff, But people, let me just say this: I'm going to single somebody out again here because I really admire him, Reverend Daniel Bird.
Mm-hmm.
He's an artist, and I'm talking about like his piece, the Baphomet altarpiece that he makes, which I've heard he's not doing it anymore, which is so sad to see, but it is worth every penny. He's making these things with his hands and his skill and his talent, and it's the best one I've ever seen. Nobody's ever made one that's better. Yeah, not even my LED ones. Those are really fucking cool, but the paint job is amazing, and it's his, I don't want to say love went into it, but his pride went into it. His art went into it, and these things they're great, and people don't bark at him for the prices he charges because they know it's a custom piece made for them when they order it. And
exactly.
This analogy because we do the same thing. We emulate that because I don't have stock of precious metals sitting here for whenever someone gets around to ordering it. I can't sit on that product like that. The other pieces, yeah, because they're a little less expensive, but when it comes to precious metals, these things are made on an order by order basis. And some people think of us like, or contact me and talk to me like like I'm Amazon, 48 hours. Where's my order? We're going
Well, right now it's a chunk of metal. Give it time.
Right, but like with Reverend Bird, he's got to attain the piece of wood needed. He uses his paint. He gets it on there. So the money that came in is being used to make the piece that he's making. Same thing for us. We take the money in. A great portion of that money goes to getting the piece cast and finished and finally sent out. So, I've got some people that, I guess, they like some people, they're just impatient, I guess, and they don't understand that these are custom things made for you. Like when you order it, this is being made for you. I'm not running out in the garage and kicking the piece out and here you go, buddy, because I'm a miner and I have all this silver laying around. It's like they don't get that. Some people just don't get that, and a lot of people, they understand what I have to do. And I have a vendor that creates a lot of this for me. Now, I went through probably 5, 6 different vendors where they just either refuse to do it because it's satanic symbols, or they were doing it for a while and then their employees are Christian and they found out and they were like, we can't do it anymore. We're going to go to hell. This literally happened. So, I went through, I hate to say it, hell and high water to find vendors I need or have. And I got this guy that does amazing work, but he's slipping it under the radar, away from other employees and different things, and just kind of including them here and there as he can. So that's another thing that takes a little longer. So I'm just bound by that schedule, and I've never not delivered. So I just don't get why people are so impatient. I know that they want their piece, and they get it when it's done. I can't get it any sooner than when the guy does it. You know what I mean? So as soon as it's like, hey, it's done, here you go, then I put it in a box and mail it out to you, and it's awesome. People are like, oh, this is great. But you have a couple of people that just they don't understand. They think of us as Amazon and don't realize that we cater to Satanists who understand that what this is, and we're a very small niche market. And relax. It's just strange to me, but and that's why, like, there was like, I guess I could talk about this later or something, because I'm sure you're going to ask me some questions about horrible customer service or something. Yeah. But,
are we that predictable?
Yeah, no, it's always a good question.
I'm going to take a break. You just ask your own questions and answer them.
No, so I'm done. But yeah, people just impatient, I guess. It's
welcome
so
to John's rant.
So, John, was I Satanist your first business venture?
No.
Next question.
All right.
No, I have I have other things. I have my hand in a lot of other things, but I'm going to keep those two worlds separate.
Okay.
This is like,
that's fair.
When worlds collide. Okay.
All right, let's try this one. What books would you recommend to the aspiring entrepreneur?
Books.
That whole study thing.
Yeah.
Keeps coming.
Yeah.
Keeps coming up.
Come on, anything on the Church of Satan recommended reading list, anything. But I don't want to just leave it at that. I mean, I love Machiavelli's The Prince. I love Sun Tzu's The Art of War. A good book for business, besides the cliche 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's a good book called The Book of the Five Rings by Musashi. It's Miyamoto Musashi. Read it. You can read it in literally 22 minutes. But read it again. It's a great book. And finally, Sin in the Skin by D.S. Wallace.
Yes.
Great book.
Great guy.
I hope to meet him one day. He no, but you're reading that book, you see, how someone deals with different customers and things like that, and you can see, you get a lot out of it. Trust me, but it's a good book.
Okay, so since we're gonna make your prediction come true, since you brought it up, what is the most horrible customer service experience you've had?
Self-fulfilling prophecy, huh?
There you go.
I've had a couple. You know, we've been at this for what, a little over 3 years now, I think. Three, 4.
Are you asking?
Yeah, you guys know how long we've been doing this, right?
7.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it.
No, I've had a couple, but one stands out, and I'm not going to say his name. But,
Come on. Say his
I
name.
mean, he knows who he is. He's from some political activist group posing as satanic. But he actually ordered a sterling silver piece, received it, and ruined it. He poured like acid on it or something and dinged it up, scratched it. He must have thrown it off a building and a couple of times. I mean, it was like really just like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he posts, look what I received and how I received it. And I'm like what?
UPS
Like,
did
why
it?
would you?
Like you saw it, picked it out, and said, "You know what? This looks great. Ship it."
Yeah, like he'd have a better chance of getting like a cheap cloisonne piece or something and doing it, because I might miss quality control on that thing. But these silver pieces are made like custom order by order, so I look at every little piece of it, like they're perfect. This guy's amazing with the work he does, and when I seen the picture, I could not stop laughing. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? And he spent, what, $150 on this piece, and he tried to get his money back and everything. And my merchant bank was like, no, you're not getting it back. It's clearly a hoax, feeble.
And
So
that was how Satanist was undone.
it's just so crazy. But most of the time, just a couple of people are impatient and hey, I'm just wondering about my order. And it's like, I know you have your order, and I know that I have your order, but sometimes people just need to be reassured, I guess, for some reason. I don't know why, but
They're excited too.
I know, and it's just, I'm so busy, I guess. It's just, it sucks for me to take time. Oh, you know what? Let's see where it's at, and I bother the guy, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, it's gonna be in this batch coming, and then this one's in the next one," and it's like stuff like that. And I was like, "Okay," and then I answer the guy back. I mean, that takes literally 30 minutes out of my day that I could be doing other things. But
Masturbating.
on one hand, yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what? It goes with the territory. I got to do it, but it's just it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So, speaking of quality, can you tell us a little bit about the process you go through, how you find merchants, what you do to inspect a product, how you fuck people's products up before you ship them to them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Does that require special tools?
acid, I guess. I don't know where the fuck. I think he might have peed on it. You better go get checked for diabetes or something. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't even get that, but that was awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm pretty much at where I'm at now with the vendors and things like that. For certain things, I know I need to look for a different vendor to do like cobalt stuff and possibly titanium, because the things I have now, they just frankly don't do that. So I'm going to be looking into that. But inspection happens at, like, depending on what's going on, at like 3 or 4 different points. I mean, I think all the years doing this so far, and I'm literally tens of thousands of orders that have gone out over these years. I think I've got 2 things that somebody said, "Hey, I got this and it looked like this," and it's like, "Oh, I'll send you a new one out." And they show me pictures of like the enamel popped out of something or something like that. Something simple, but it happens because what do you want for $20? It's or $16.99 or something. It's what it is. It's cheap, inexpensive stuff. And you want the good stuff. You get that stainless steel. Because that's something. That's something to brag about. You show that piece around, your friends, anyone that's satanic around you is going to be like, "Shit, that thing's awesome." But I mean, to answer your question though, we inspect everything we send out. The vendors inspect them before they get to me. I inspect them when they arrive here. I'll inspect them again before they go into the package. And yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, and then you put it in a box of, gravel and other rocks and ship it.
Yeah, because I figure I'd let the UPS guys tumble it around, get some good dings and scratches on it and stuff.
So, John, what steps do you take to ensure your company stands the test of time?
Number one, I guess, is pleasing the customers. I mean, sometimes it's a tough road. Some customers are unique, and but it's that you got to do that. If you do that, they tell their friends, and they tell their friends and stuff, and soon you're putting one foot in front of the other. But I mean, another step is I try to always improve on the quality of the item, or can I get this done with the same quality at a cheaper price from somebody? I don't want to just sit there and settle for this one guy or this one vendor. If I can find somebody, and I'm always looking, that can do the same thing, same quality for a cheaper price, well, then I can slash my prices. Now people will be like, well, give me 3 of those or give me more of those, and because it's more affordable, And I always want to be able to offer a wider and wider selection, so that way there's something for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, you were talking earlier about goals and always working towards your goals.
I was?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a while back.
Okay.
But you were.
Rewind. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
That was awesome. What goals are you working on? Do you have goals?
I do. You mean for iSatanist?
Yeah. Or just in general, or iSatanist, whatever.
Oh, but goals for iSatanist. I'm trying to. I've get a lot of suggestions for things, so I'm trying to
like Christmas tree toppers.
Hit on. You are the first one to suggest the Christmas tree topper, but no, we want to branch out and offer more because of the people's suggestions, altar items. Things like gongs, portable altars that you could bring out to the woods with your friends and do things wherever, candles, laser engraved items and different things for your, altar walls and things like that. We want to be able to do more things, some satanic swords or daggers and things like that, can be used on your altar, and just kind of branch out with that. But I want to keep, my goal is to keep pouring so much money into this thing that in about 10 years I'll be homeless. It'd be great.
That's awesome.
No.
That's success. What about goals apart from iSatanist?
Right now, getting into shape. I'm getting better, but about a month and a half ago, I was in really good shape, round, because it's shape. But, because you're sitting around, I'm on the computer, I'm doing this, I'm going over here, I'm sitting in the car, I'm doing that. And it's just suckage, man. But personally, for me, I've been working out, eating better. I lost 21 pounds in 5 weeks now, and I want to see my penis, is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Everyone else sees it, but I don't get to, and I think that sucks, man.
That's sad.
Well, on that note, John, it's been awesome having you on here. Do you have any parting thoughts or words of wisdom you'd like to share?
Yeah, don't sleep. If you're ever thinking of starting a satanic jewelry business, don't do it. No, I mean, if you want, here's the thing. I personally love raising the bar. I always raise my own bar. I try to raise other people's bars, either by being, befriending them and pushing them, or pissing them off and pushing them. Either way, I want them to do something better, impress my ass, impress your own ass. We are as the satanic kindred, so to speak. I don't look at it like a community or anything like that, but we are born this way. So we are a kindred, and so to speak. And I think that we are as strong as our weakest link. And there's nothing wrong with, I'm not talking about holding people's hands or anything like that, but there's nothing wrong with, offering them the advice they seek, or helping them out in some way to to make them better too. You know, if we raise each other's
Yeah, yeah.
bars, we're a mutual admiration society. We're supposed to uplift each other so that as a, I hate this word collective, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
'Cause we're
yeah,
not really
yeah.
a community. We, you know, we're individuals, but as a, you know, that thing.
Well, like-minded, like-minded
like
people can get together and bounce
as a-
ideas off each other.
Yeah, as a group of like-minded individuals, I'll say it that way. It sucks that we have to say it that way, but yeah, that type of thing.
We don't want to create any
We'll
misconceptions.
rise. Yeah, we'll rise together though, you know, in that type of way. I'm not looking like a kumbaya thing. I'm not. People know what I'm talking about. You guys get what I'm saying.
I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's-
you know, we just
And
raise them.
sometimes it's as simple as just asking, a friend or family member for help. If you're trying to get something done, you don't always get it done on your own. No one ever got anywhere 100% by themselves.
Just me.
Right.
No, okay, well, except for Devilmaycare.
John,
Nice.
I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's definitely been a pleasure, and I think you've offered a lot to the listeners, like you always do. And
Oh, my pleasure's mine. The pleasure's all mine, honestly.
thank you much. Have a good
All
night.
right.
Get some sleep.
Yeah.
That's right. Try to do that.
See you, man.
All right.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hell, Satan.